organization, anything and everything that you do in Toastmasters, nobody can force you. So that's everything, any activity that you take up, you believe that it will be doing some good for you in your future, and you take that activity and you practice it again and again. So that is how you grow in Toastmasters. And as I said, it's completely voluntary, it's self-paced. I mean, there are awards at certain stages when you complete things at in certain time, but then overall concept is to let you grow at your own pace, because every one, have different circumstances in their life, and due to which they have different what do you call speed of working on something. So let's start with this induction. So this is the brief agenda that we are going to go through today. Very first thing is going to be about goal setting. Then we'll see a little bit about Toastmasters and Toastmasters International. And then we'll be talking about pathways and the mentor mentee relationship and any other queries that you might have. Okay. So let's start with my favorite. And the first thing is goal setting. Okay. Now, most of the time, what happens in Toastmasters is, for example, if I ask you that why did you join Toastmasters, what would you answer be?
I think it's an amazing platform to learn, and a lot of skills, and especially in communication and connecting with different people from different organization. So I think that's one of the main reasons that I've joined Toastmasters. To have that interesting connectivity with others
Okay.
and learn a lot
So
of.
So is it speaking skills? Is it listening skills? Which one do you want to develop, or is it both?
Both, I would say.
Okay. And in what percentage you would say?
I would say to the maximum percentage.
No, no, no. It's like, see, suppose, see, you have a limited time. So that's what we are coming here. That whatever goal that you are setting, you're able to see the presentation, right?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay. So goal, when you set a goal, first of all, the goal has to be like, obviously, being an HR, you know this thing much better than me, this grid. So
Yeah.
let's consider a time-based goal. Let's consider that you have 6 months in hand. From now to say March or April is the time you had. So within that time, you know that you have a specific period of time in hand, and there are only specific number of meetings that you can attend, because you have your personal life, you have your office life. So there are some specific activities that you want to. So which is the in what percentage, when I say that, how much focus you want to give to your speaking skills and how much focus you want to give to your listening skills, which is more important to you? Listening what others are saying, attentive listening is what you are trying to work on, or being a eloquent speaker is something which you are working on.
I'm working on being a better listener.
Okay, so
If you have to.
okay, so better listener, obviously, yeah, that's a very smart choice. That's good. Okay, so now you have to figure out, usually if I have to give an example, like when any technical presentation or anything goes on, we usually switch off in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Here, usually if you take a listener role, we'll go forward. There are different kinds of roles, and then you can enhance your listening skills up to like, what do you call, 1 hour, wherein you can attentively listen to the whole meeting for 1 hour, when usually we tend to switch off and understand only 10 or 15% of it. So yes, when you have picked up a certain goal, that okay, fine, you want to spend 80% of your energy on being a good listener, and 20% on being a speaker. I take some time later on offline and work on these on this grid, that how can you make it more specific, more measurable, more relevant to your work. How do you make that grid and then follow it, so it will be much easier for you, and you would enjoy Toastmasters more, because then you will have some self-paced targets that you can chase. Like, if you can measure yourself, okay, fine, I was able to pay attention to 10% of the meeting, then again I was able to pay attention to 25% of the meeting, I was able to pay attention to 75% of the meeting, I was able to understand anything and everything that people were saying.
Got that.
So you can probably, you can fill in these blanks. Keep it with you, because as I said, it's for you yourself. So keep it with you and check yourself continuously, meeting after meeting, as to how you are progressing in this particular path. and take up roles and take up what do you call, activities which will enhance these things in the proportion that you have thought of.
Got that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Next, this is the main structure about Toastmasters International. It was started in 1924, and since then there has a lot of revisions and have been done. There have been a lot of restructuring and all. Everything has gone. So finally, this is the structure which is currently there, wherein the member is always considered the most important person. The member is always at the top. Then a group of members form a club. Usually, for chartering a club, it's like it's a minimum of 20 members. Okay, then after that, four clubs form an area, and then four areas form a division. So you can just remember the hierarchy in general. You don't need to remember the numbers. So there are
Okay.
clubs, then clubs form areas, areas form divisions, divisions form districts. So just to give you a hint, it's like I think there are some 16 divisions right now, and they form one district, and then region, and then comes the Toastmaster International. So, what would be important for you is club, your club name, your area is A2, the division is A,
Okay.
district is district. We belong to district 121 and region 13. Debarshi, even you would need to keep a note of it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
region 13, district 121, division A, area A2. Excuse me. Okay. So this, in general, what Toastmasters International expects from any member, so that they, they go in this progress in this path, and they get their desired results. So participation is the most important factor, that you need to participate wholeheartedly. Like any speeches or any activity, when someone delivers, it is understood that the person is giving their best, and we always believe it in such way. And next is interacting, that is providing a positive environment in the long run, going ahead as a club officer, because club officer is one role where you enhance your listening, speaking skills, as well as your leadership skills. Because I mean, a good leader, I mean, cannot be a bad communicator. He or she has to be a good communicator as well. And then maintain the club quality, that is bring guests, follow the guidelines and rules, that is the general rules that we follow, and follow the ethical standards that in general is followed. So that's in general Toastmasters promise. Okay, now we come to pathways. So have you logged into the portal anytime after once your membership is through?
Yes, I did.
Oh wow.
But then I'm
Okay.
still yet to explore.
Okay, so here, I'll keep it short for right now. We can probably have one more session on pathways at some other day, some other day. So in
Sure.
pathways, if you see, there are different kinds of, like you said, you want to develop a specific kind of skill set. So in pathways, you will find different kind of path which explores different kinds of skill sets. Like you could be dynamic leadership, it could be leadership development. My first path was motivational strategies, or if, it could be presentation mastery, or it could be building strategic relationships. So along with this, you will also get a sheet which gives what percentage, what skill set you develop. And there is a questionnaire that you need to give. If you fill in the questionnaire properly, it will be able to identify as to which path you should take up. And if it is generic communication that you want to work on, then presentation mastery is the one. So before this, there were uh, something called the competent communicator, CC. So
Okay.
that CC and the whole bunch of that was removed, and then this is the new pathways that has been developed. And if you want to focus mostly on generic communication, presentation mastery is more the path. Wherein if you want to explore something more, dynamic, or explore something more innovative and all, then these are some of the parts which you might want to work on. Like I'm currently working on engaging humor. because I want to make a side career in stand-up comedy or something like that. So engaging humor is something that I am working on right now. So
Correct.
this will not only develop your speaking skills, this might develop your writing skills as well. Like what kind of emails do you want to write in your professional life? What are the usual kind of emails that you end up writing? So how can you improve that? Like for example, minutes of meeting is something which any and every one of us need to write nowadays. And now in virtual meetings, like everybody is asked to write minutes of meeting. So how to make the minutes of meeting much better, how to write it faster, how to not miss the points. Then again, active listening again becomes one of the unique skills you need over there. And then write a good minutes of meeting. So all these, many of these things, so you have to think from your professional and personal perspective, that what is it that you want to look at, and then based on that, take up that particular path and start working on it.
Got that.
Okay, so pathways has five, like whichever path you pick up, there will be five levels. The first level is generic for everyone, wherein you will be developing your general speaking skills and your feedback taking skills, and how do you work on the feedback, and then how do you do a research and presentation, how do you research upon a subject and present that. And then level 2 onwards, it will go deeper into the path that you were particularly chosen. And in level 4 and 5, you will be having leadership and group kind of activities, wherein you will be taking up much bigger roles, and those activities will take more time. So this is how it grows. Okay, meeting roles. So you might be familiar with some of these roles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but let me give you a different perspective to what these roles are. The first of all, timer. See, timer is probably the most important person in a Toastmasters meeting, because the aspect of time respected is very much respected in any Toastmaster meeting or any Toastmasters gathering. It's like very rarely you would see any Toastmasters meeting starting late or ending late or going a little beyond time. Maybe even if somebody becomes late by 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we take it into account that yeah, like we are running late by 5 and 10 minutes. So that develops a habit of time management in us as well. So this is one role wherein you take up, you develop a more better perspective towards the aspect of time, and how much time I should give where, and it starts coming in naturally. Now, R counter is, technically speaking, yes, it's a very easy role. You have to keep a note of the different R's and ums and all. But then, in order to do that, imagine you have to continuously focus and listen to the whole meeting. You have to focus and listen to everybody who is speaking right now. So it's
Hmm.
like, so that it's not that an easy task. You do it again and again. You kind of start catching up upon the body language somebody uses, like in a virtual format, how somebody speaks, how confident they are. All that you can make out from the different number of R's and ums and and how they speak. So that makes your communication much easier. So you get a point as to how you should communicate with that person. Grammarian, again, similar role. The I really enjoy listening to the choice of words which people use. Different people tend to use different kinds of words, and it's really fun to understand what the nature of the person is based on the terminologies and the words that they use. It's really fun to understand, and from that you can start, I won't say judge, but then you have a realization what kind of person you're dealing with, and then accordingly you can use your language. Toastmaster of the day, this is the role which teaches you the most, because Toastmaster of the day involves active listening, it involves active speaking, it involves improvisation, it provides communication, and there is a lot of structure to be followed. So if somebody masters this role, the Toastmaster of the day role, they can take up any other role. It's probably the most difficult role, and it encapsulates anything and everything activities that Toastmasters has. Sergeant at Arms, any meeting, Sergeant at Arms is the first person who opens a meeting. And obviously you and I and everyone else knows how stepping up for the first role becomes very difficult. So yes, When a sergeant at arms steps up for the first time, and then meeting on meeting, he's the first person to open his mouth. It is a difficult role, he or she is literally the icebreaker. So if you want to learn how to step up first and how to go first, set the opening, so then sergeant at arms is one role that you might want to looking at. General evaluator, this is a super listening skill exercise. I mean, you cannot miss out anything as a general evaluator. You have to totally focus upon anything and everything they have said, whether from the role perspective, whether from the language perspective, whether what was expected from them. All these things you get to see as a general evaluator. So that's again a listening exercise. Speech evaluator is, I would say, yes, it's very much a listening exercise, as well as how to form your opinion and give it shortly. Like, we love to give our opinion. Like, I have been speaking nonstop for almost 20 minutes now. So we love to give our opinion about different subjects and all. But how do you make it short? How do you make your opinion, you make your suggestions and your feedback in like 2 to 3 minutes, and how do you deliver a crisp report? So that's what evaluation exercise is all about. And then the table topic master, which is again considered as a listening exercise, because you have to listen to various people, connect with them, and build a nice session around it. So if you can see, there are many. Most of the exercises are around listening. Like, our counter is a listening exercise, grammarian is a listening exercise, speech evaluators are listening exercise, general evaluator, again you need to listen, toastmaster of the day you need to listen, table topic master you need to listen to the people what they say and build around it. So yes, there is a lot of focus, and there are a variety of activities that you can take it up. Now comes the club officer. Yeah. So are you somewhat familiar with these roles?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So president, as you understand it, he or she is the overall head. Vice president education, what's your understanding?
That I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure about, I've heard about president, treasurer, secretary, the public relation, and yeah, I'm not sure about the VP education membership and yeah, those two.
VP education is somebody who looks at the like the core element why a person joins a club is to improve upon certain activities, certain facets, certain areas, and it is the role of the VP education to see that members are progressing as they had set out for. So that is what the vice president education role is, which includes taking up these roles and taking up speeches, and how they're progressing on their path. What they is there anything extra that they require, uh, allotting mentors from there for them. All these becomes the task of the VP education, wherein vice president membership is more focused on the membership aspect. That is the member happy or not, and is the member going to renew? And then, if there are guests who are coming in, how, what are the guests looking for, and making sure that they get that in toastmaster and that they join the toastmaster. Sergeant at arms, it's more of a logistics, the handling kind of a role, and also opening every meeting. Sorry. Okay, and then vice president public relations is more about creativity and how you can connect with people and how you can bring in more guests. If creativity is something that you are looking on, making posters, making newsletters, and all, then vice president public relations is one role that you might be looking at. Treasurer is the money management role. If you want to learn how to manage funds and how to do a bookkeeping and how to do a profit and loss, if that's what you're looking at, then treasurer role is what you're looking at. And secretary is somebody who connects with everyone. Secretary connects with the president, secretary connects with the vice president education, secretary connects with the treasurer, the vice president membership. So he is kind of a spock for Toastmasters International to gain information about all these, what the other role takers are doing. One second, I need to take this call.
Sure.
I can mute the Baba. How do you mute? Hello? Hello? Hmm. Huh.
Somik, you have two red buttons and the round buttons. The first one is the unmute button.
Ha, okay, it's working.
Yes.
Okay, so Liz, did you understand what these role takers do? Like the different
Yes.
club officers?
Yeah.
So which one feels most interesting to you?
Uh, in the meeting roles or the club officers role?
I would say meeting roles will come to it later. Club officers role, which one do you think is the most interesting one?
I think all are interesting. I mean, since they have different aspects. But if I have to go to, I think I would like VP education.
Yes. So let me add on a little bit about like VP education role. VP education, to me, was a role which, frankly speaking, improved my endurance skills, because there are certain times when you just cannot go on. The workload is very heavy, and that is something that will happen in VP education. I'm being really open to you, because setting up meetings on a week on week basis, checking members progress, how they are progressing on a certain path, how they are doing it, and motivating them. Every individual is a different individual, and you have to deal with them in a very different manner. You have to keep motivating them, and you cannot, since it's a volunteer organization, you cannot get angry with someone, and you cannot expect the person to deliver. So here it becomes a little more difficult than your professional life. So VP education is one leadership role which I feel everybody should take up once, because if they finish this role successfully, the 6 months term, a lot becomes easy in their professional life, because that is where people are committed to deliver, and you just have to push them. And here there is no other than the individual motivation, there is no further commitment. So that is where VP education role becomes a very tactical role, in which you need to motivate the people in a positive manner, in a manner that they understand. People have their own agendas, they have their own nuances, but then you have to understand them, you have to work with them, you have to continuously motivate them, and you have to keep pushing them. So VP education, yes, it's a very big role. It's one of the most prominent roles of the club, wherein if you're looking at more of creativity and stuff, that is how do you explore your creativity, like making a poster or making a newsletter or making something fancy, so all those comes with the public relation. So these are the different officer roles. Now, okay, now comes to the mentor and mentee. So usually, like what we do is that for any club, like when the VP education, once you join in, when Vice President Education welcomes you, the person, one person is assigned to you as a mentor. So I think Devjit, what we spoke about was something called as HR buddy, right? Sorry, not HR buddy. My bad. My Toastmaster buddy, right?
Yes, yes.
So see, now what happens is the when you join, the mentor has some expectations from you, the mentee has from expectations from the mentor. So from somewhere the two have to go in tandem. The mentor has to understand the mentee, and the mentee has to understand the mentor. So usually, as you have known in in your professional settings, it's not the boss that who will try to understand, it is you who have to understand your boss. So yes, understand the expectation, what you are expected to deliver, and where you are right now. The prior experience, you might have been mentored by somebody in your prior organization or prior Toastmasters club. How that experience was, that sometimes comes to influence how the interaction goes right now, and that shouldn't be the picture. So prior experience should not influence as to how your Toastmasters activity in this particular term is going to be. The commitments, like many of the mentors are too much committed towards Toastmasters, and they will expect you to push harder. So that is where you need to tell them that I have these constraints, and this is the pace at which I want to go. So the pace setting goes right, and the mentor understands the pace that you take. The mentor mentee bond, yes, this is very important. Like my mentor, uh, I got my mentor in long back. March 2018 was when I got my mentor, and he's still mentoring all my speeches. He's still mentoring all my activities, whatever. Whenever I took up a different club officer role, he was the one who guided me through that. This is how you should go about it, giving up suggestions and all. So the bond is important. The longer you stay connected with your mentor, the more fruitful results you start getting. And then how do you become a mentor? That is once you cross your level 2. It's like, and you start thinking that there are some skill sets that you feel like passing on to. Then that's when it's time for you to become a mentor. Got it? Hello.
Yeah. I can hear you. Sorry, I was not.
Okay. We are going a little fast because like
No,
it's
no, that's totally fine.
okay. So any questions you have for me right now? Anything you want to ask?
I think everything was very crisp and clear. So nothing as of now. I mean, if there is anything, probably I can reach out later. If that's fine.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. Okay. So now I have, if you don't have a question, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, read it.
What role are you taking up for the next meeting?
Yes. So
Okay,
tell
that's
that and we are done for the day.
okay. That
Swami, probably can you show that screen
The
which
roll taker
inside the
wala?
roads?
One
Uh,
sec.
I think I will
we're talking about meeting roles.
meeting
Yes.
rules. No.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I think I would prefer to be the timer.
Timer is already taken by a person. For
Haha.
this week, a timer role is taken.
Okay, so you can tell me whichever is remaining.
I know I can choose anything else.
My suggestion, go with grammarian if it is open.
Okay, I'll go with the grammarian.
Okay. Devarshi, you have one more roll taker.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we come to the end of this session. And thank you very much, guys, for listening in. Hope it was uh, a good listening exercise for all of you. I mean, obviously, it was a good speaking exercise for me.